Gaming is usually hailed as a pretty useless pastime, something that is a waste of time and is associated with laziness. Well, that's before you factor in streaming, content, competing, and what most people relate to, ranked. The number you see on the screen that makes it all feel worth it. And who doesn't want that rank to be higher, to flex on all their friends? Come on, don't lie, we've all been there at some point in our life. I mean, you clicked on the video, so that tells it all. But what makes me qualified to talk about this concept? Well, I am a top 500 Overwatch player, but to prove that it wasn't in just one game, I've hit Champ 2 in Rocket League and recently Emerald in Siege. So let's assess what is similar between every game from different genres and what you can take out of my experience to better your experience in competitive gaming. Getting to the top 5% of a game, aka Emerald or Champ in this case, is an achievement whether the top players want to admit it or not. But what I learned is that it is not about necessarily being good at the game, although that is part of it. It is more about achieving control over your emotions and understanding how you foster your growth over a period of time. I know this is true because my aim in Overwatch does not transfer to hitting the ball in Rocket League. Those are two very different inputs as well as objectives. What I am getting at is that you are always going to have bad teammates. It is inevitable. Understand, however, that that is out of your control. The more you complain about factors that are out of your control, the less likely you are to succeed at what you actually want to do. Let's say it's raining outside and you have to walk to class. One student complains to their friend for 5 minutes about the rain and forgets their umbrella altogether, while another sucks it up and finds their umbrella, then starts their adventure to class. The rain isn't going anywhere, and while it sucks that you have to walk through it, why would you waste the time complaining and make it worse for yourself by forgetting to get your umbrella? It doesn't help make the situation easier, it just makes you more miserable. This is just like climbing in ranked. It sucks having bad teammates, and to be honest, it never gets better no matter how high you climb, so get used to it. Take accountability for your mistakes and learn from them. Find your umbrella and get to work. There is always something you could have done better to win a game, even if you don't see it at the moment. And this brings me to the next point that I have. Improvement comes first and cannot be denied. Improvement is your umbrella through the rainstorm of ranked. Ranking up is directly correlated to winning more games, and how are you supposed to do that if you stay as a gold player mentally the whole time you play a game? Even when I have bad teammates, if the end goal is to become a top ranked player and I am not playing like a top ranked player, there is no point in complaining, and there is still more I can do. The thing is, the way you go about improvement at the deeper levels of theory is different in every game. At a surface level though, each game shares the need to establish an understanding of the basic mechanics it has to offer. My biggest takeaway from hitting the top 5% in multiple games is that mastering the basics always gets you this far. First comes movement. In Rocket League, this could include learning how to aerial properly, or how to half flip, and how to air roll. In Siege, this could include learning how to Shaiko peek, how to swing angles effectively, and learning when to alt walk to stay quiet. Lastly, in Overwatch, this comes down to strafing at the right speed so that you don't accidentally stand still from effectively moving too fast, which I actually made a video about on my main channel to gain a better understanding of movement. It is crazy to me just how many people get bored of the basics of movement and immediately try to do all these crazy strafes and wave dashes. It isn't that learning these things wouldn't help you. There's no reason to learn how to do these things if you don't know why they are useful and when to use them. Seriously, learn movement first, even if it seems so easy, because the best players have it truly perfected from the fundamentals, and that takes a good bit of time to get down, believe me. Second, once you finally refine your movement, only then does aiming come into play. And it doesn't even really come in the way that you think. Warming up before you play is necessary, and everyone has their own routines, but it is important to understand how it works and how you are looking at the screen when you are not in an engagement or receiving the play. In Rocket League, hitting the ball is one thing, but knowing where the ball is going to be in a few seconds means more. This is the same in an FPS game. Yes, being able to hit the shot is fundamentally important, but it's more about thinking about where your target is going to be on your screen before they are there. Understanding where your crosshair should be placed and then working on moving it is how you focus on the skill to improve in the long term. Lastly, after the first fundamentals are down, it's time to learn the fundamentals of the game itself. In other words, learning the maps and the game modes at their very fundamental levels. This also includes learning what every character does and how the usual game goes for what it is that you are playing. This seems incredibly simple, but the basics are difficult to get down because there is a lot to account for in modern gaming. Hell, League has more than 160 heroes. That's insane. And trust me, with some of the games I'm playtesting, it's very similar. Only after learning the fundamentals can you climb above the top 5% of players. Then you have different problems, like truly understanding what it is that is going on in the different ways niche situations interact. But that likely isn't worth your time to talk about. Why? Because just by the math, 95% of you watching this video have never gotten to this point before, which is why I bring you the answer to what you are looking for. How do you actually get to the top 5% of players? Whether you want to hear it or not, it takes time and practice and being committed to the grind and fundamentals. If you clicked this video for some get-rich-quick scheme, it doesn't exist, and anyone that says it does is full of shit. The greatest players in the game that you look up to aren't just talented. More importantly, they have incredible work ethic and optimize their time to be the best at their game. It doesn't matter who you talk to. The number one best person at any given thing didn't get there just because they are talented. They got there because they curated their drive to succeed in a way that pushed them to incredible bounds. In order to really improve and subsequently climb, you have to be willing to accept that it won't happen in a day and that you might improve a lot in a day without your rank reflecting that. While the rank going up is nice, you have to understand that it doesn't really define you as a player or a person. It is an indication of a player's skill, but not the end-all be-all arbiter of skill. Even though I have past competitive Overwatch experience, I probably have put at least 500 hours into every single game I'm the top 5% in that we've talked about today. Sure, I might have a higher starting point in the learning curve, but that doesn't mean it didn't take time. What I am getting at is that anyone has the capability of getting to the top 5%, but it all comes down to whether or not they are willing to commit themselves. Do you have the strength to take accountability of your own mistakes? The strength to lock in and refine your fundamentals? And most of all, the strength and courage to understand that it will not be an easy path with many ups and downs. 95% of players aren't willing to commit like that because it's difficult. In reality though, that is what it takes. Dedication and falling in love with the process. Before learning other games, I thought this process was simple, just playing a lot and you'll get there. But hitting these milestones multiple times really opened my eyes to the experiences you all have. I really hope that this hits home to at least one person watching this video, even if it isn't in-game. It's really how you have to think about life too. Improving and becoming better doesn't come in a day, and we all have a pretty good understanding of where to start, but holding ourselves accountable and giving ourselves time takes a lot of discipline. Once you push through though, you will often achieve some of the most enjoyable moments life has to offer. So thank you all so much for watching, but until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.